Alrighty, man. We're going to be going back to Aztec for game number 1 of our second series, and this is going to be a game with one of my favorite people in the Brood War community. His name is HaN, aka HaN. Very cool dude, French dude, off of Team IRK, and he is one of the coolest guys around, man. He's out there promoting, Brood War streams, talking about Brood War, doing graphics for people. Very cool guy. So I can't wait to see his games, and man, he was looking so strong last week.
I did not see those games, but I recognize the name. I think he made all the graphics for BSL, and
Yes.
then I think I read recently in the Foreign Brood where he beat somebody known. I can't remember who it was, but looking forward to this game, and I think he's a Protoss player.
Nope.
No,
All
not
Zerg,
Protoss.
baby.
Zerg. Is there a Terran in here?
I don't know.
Terran
We'll have to
Zerg?
see. We'll have to see. I don't know
Okay.
his opponent, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and get into series number 2, game number 1, and see what Foxhound's opponent is going to spawn as.
Maybe it's the GOAT, Nablime. Where's he at? He's also Australian, right? Oh, what is this? Protoss. Ew.
Protoss!
DocHoliday, you're gonna have to carry me in this matchup.
All right, dude. Well, I'll talk about what I can. Here's the problem. Like, your off race is better than my main race, so I don't really know how much additional information I'm gonna have for people. But in the bottomless leftish hand corner of Aztec, we have spawning as the white Protoss, mSj Dreamer.
And in the bottom right, we got the red Zerg player. It's HaN. Now, DocHoliday, I used to play Zerg. Back in 2000, I used to play Zerg. If we're gonna talk, if we're gonna go history, at one point the pool used to be 150 minerals. The lurker upgrade used to be 125 minerals and 125 gas.
So ridiculous.
And back then, these were the builds. I'm not kidding you. It was Lost. First off, the map is Lost Temple. That's a given. It was 9 pool, because you're getting your lings in there maybe 5 seconds faster than a 200 pool these days. Followed up into lurker, into 1 base guardian. Those were the builds back then. So
Sounds balanced.
Don't question my Zerg knowledge. I got top tier strats to fall back on.
Oh my god, that sounds so disgusting, bro. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. I wish I played during those days.
And I'm not kidding. When the patch dropped that not only nerfed the pool and the lurker upgrade, I'm not kidding, my exact thoughts were something like, well, how does Zerg play nowadays? And I switched to Terran. I'm not kidding. That's actually a true story. I didn't know how Zerg was supposed to play after that, and I switched to Terran.
Oh man. Well, guys, people calling me out. Apparently Dreaming was pretty damn good back in the day. It was B- on an IC Cup. Apparently Nina said he got all the way to A-. Back in the day. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, he was playing in the SCR Pro Series, so he's got to be pretty damn good here. But this is the tier 1 of the CPL, so we got guys going up. Like, I believe 1800 is the soft cap for people, but I mean 1800 is pretty damn good. And then I think there's people who have been higher before. Like Telecom last season was like a tier 1 player, and now he's just a coach. So.
I played Dreamer in STPL 2 weeks ago, I think.
Comments?
But he DT rushed me off a 2-gate and then tried to double expand. It's kind of just a free win for Terran if you stop it. I don't have any other experience with him other than that. Well, actually, I think I've played him a couple times on the ladder. I think he was over 2,000 last season, so definitely not bad for sure. And I'm already liking his build. It's just the standard Protoss Forge expand. And this is perfect reaction from him because it's actually 4 lings. He doesn't have to build a second cannon.
Yeah, very nicely read here. Honestly, I actually don't like when I make 4 lings and there's only 1 cannon. It feels like you're a little bit behind. Again, like, these are like really nuanced things, so it doesn't mean that much going forward into the game here. But I think especially in the early game, all those little advantages really end up being kind of a big deal if you get into the late game. So you really just want to get every advantage you possibly can, and not being able to force a second cannon, but going for the 4 lings can be kind of rough sometimes.
And I like what Han's doing here. He split up his lings to catch this probe. By sending out all 4 of his lings, it forced Dreamer to at least be a little worried, but at the same time, he gave up knowledge of where the probe was. And the probe is really the only way for Protoss to scout at this point in the game. If it dies, Protoss isn't... Oh, is it going to get caught? Oh, he hasn't seen the third hatch. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Because now Protoss has no clue what's going on. Is it mass ling? Is it mass hydra? Is it 3-hatch hydra? Is it 5-hatch power? Is it mutas? Literally no idea. He's going to have to rush this Corsair out, and that's going to be his only scouting. And by then, if you were getting all in, you're already dead.
Yeah, I mean, we should see like a safety cannon going down 2 eventually here, at least 1. And if I mean, you might even want to put down 2 because without, 3 cannons at the very least to defend against the 3-hatch Hydra, by the time your Corsair is out, I mean, you're not going to have that information. You could just die.
Okay, and now what Han is doing here with this Overlord you see at the natural, okay, I actually love, okay, he's turning it around. What I was going to say was, first off, this Overlord's probably going to get picked off. So to just show it is probably not a huge deal, but I watched a VOD from Shuttle, and he said, if you see the Overlord at the natural, just sitting there, you're going to be getting busted. If Han had to just sack that Overlord, just let it sit there, potentially Dreamer might have thought he was getting all in and built 3-4 cannons. And as we see here, there's actually not an all-in coming. That would have just been wasted minerals for Dreamer, and all really Han would have lost here was 100 minerals.
Yeah, I mean, signaling that is really important because I mean, when you have the Overlord in position like that, you're telling him, I need to make sure that I have vision if you've got a Dark Templar coming or whatever, because that's a really great way to stop kind of the more all-in shenanigans. If you're a Protoss player, you get that Templar archive down really quickly, and if you don't have a Overlord in position already, it's gonna be tough getting them across the map once a Sayer is out. So I think signaling that's actually would have been really smart. Getting basically free damage just by psyching your opponent out a little bit with an Overlord sounds good to me, man.
And Dreamer actually got sick positioning on that Zealot, wiping all the lings out. And now look at what Han has. Really only 2 lings. Of course, this will deal with this one leftover Zealot. But Dreamer's timing attack will be coming soon. Actually, well, I don't see speed yet. So maybe not, and we did lose those 3 Zealots. But I am liking Han's follow-up. We're going into 5-hatch. We have our Hydra Den going down. We have Evolution Chamber down. He's really playing really solid this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I expect at this level. We are casting Tier 1 CPL games, guys, so you're going to be seeing kind of the best of the best when it comes to what the CPL has to offer skill-wise. And you can really see that with how clean the build order choices are, how the scouting knowledge is incorporated into build orders, reactions, and things like that as well. So we're going to be looking at some pretty strong standard play from both of our players, I would think.
I missed the Zealot, but this Zealot is in the natural. Actually has forced drones off the line for several... Oh my god, it's even going to get kills. Dreamer dealing a lot of damage here. No Sunkens here just now. Hydra's pop.
Yeah.
A lot of damage right there. I do like Dreamer's build so far. We're up to 4 Corsairs, plus 1 weapon. On air is about to kick in. That's just going to absolutely shred Scourge and just shred Overlords.
Alrighty, we have 2 safety cannons coming down here at the natural expansion. But yeah, he got a ton done here. These cannons are really smart because Dreamer has been sending a lot of Zealots across the map, so if there was some kind of counterattack coming in here, he could have an issue defending them. But now we have Dark Templar on the field and a good number of Corsairs being built up. 1 more and he should be good to go to start poking away at Overlords. Plus 1 with 5 Corsairs is a pretty great number to have. So it looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a harassment style coming for this mid-game. And I would really like to see a pretty fast third base out of Dreamer here, because I think he's going to be able to hold on to this for a little while with all the damage he's already done.
We have a DT moving to mid-right, but it was not able to get in. But he is out on the map, and if Han is not paying attention while putting down a 4th base somewhere, potentially it could get picked off. But Han's macro is really kicking in now. We now start seeing a bunch of Hydras going down. At the same time, though, this is the point when Dreamer should be putting down a bunch of gateways. And I actually like his position. He's done a lot of economic damage. He hasn't lost any Corsairs. Okay, he actually is moving in now.
Yeah, he banked up a bunch, too. So he's got 6 Sayers here with plus 1. There are a decent number of Hydralisks here, but a bunch of Overlords could potentially go down, especially since they're all clumped up like that.
Yeah, and I forget why. Well, I'm gonna take a stab here. I haven't played Protoss vs Zerg in a while, but I'm pretty sure the reason +1 is so strong versus Scourge is they two-shot Scourge in that critical mass number of 5. I'm not sure, but look how fast these Overlords are dying. Holy crap!
Yeah, that's 30 HP. So the +1 gives the additional damage there.
Yeah. Oh, they deal full damage to Scourge?
Do they? I thought so.
Maybe they do. I don't know. I haven't. Oh my God! Overlord's getting massacred. The natural.
One Sair going down though. That's pretty okay. And HaN wasn't supply blocked by that yet. But it was very close. Look at these Overlords just running away with like 10 HP each. One more volley and that could have been, you know, a massive supply block.
And smartly, HaN has moved these Overlords away from his army. I actually thought he was going to pull them with the attack. And if there's ever an attack, he would just lose them instantly. I would have really hated it. But Dreamer, he's already set up. He's got 4 Templar. They're banking energy too. This is not going to go well for HaN if he attacks.
Yeah,
but he's gonna try.
I mean, 4 cannons too. It's gonna take a long time. A bunch of damage dealt with that first storm here. A ton of Hydras here in the red. And oh, here we go. We got a shuttle. Oh man. I don't know. I don't like HaN continuing to poke here. It's not like he has that ridiculously overwhelming number of Hydralisks where you can lose almost an entire control group and it's still not like the biggest deal in the world. I think that right now every Hydralisk is pretty valuable. And now we have Templar drops being loaded up here.
Especially after Dreamer got that one Zealot into the natural and it did so much damage that these Hydras, they're so important. He's gonna not have map control very soon. Dreamer's gateways are all about to finish or have already finished.
Oh my gosh.
He's gonna be out on the map any minute now.
Dreamer being diligent, clearing up all of the Scourge out of the way of the shuttle before it gets over here. Oh, losing a Sair.
Oh.
But still, this should be pretty crazy. I mean, with the high ground up here, it's a pretty safe spot.
Does he notice? He might think it's just a Corsair. Not
3 drones.
Not a huge storm,
yeah.
but decent damage.
And he has been poking, trying to get into the third base over here with a DT, being very smart, keeping that DT very active. Ooh. Oh man, almost a bunch more, but I don't know. That was a High Templar and a shuttle and 2 Corsairs going all down for, what, like 6 drones? I don't know if that was totally worth it here, because this is a weapon that he could have really used going into the late game when Zerg starts mass expanding.
I think it was okay, not the greatest, but Dreamer's in such a good spot. He's got all of his gateways up. He's going to be taking a 3rd base. HaN has really been kind of powering on Hydras quite a bit. His econ at his not so good now. We have 4 drones there. His 3rd base is really saturated though, but yeah, he needs to get his econ going a bit, because if he doesn't, Dreamer's just going to steamroll him with this big Dragoon timing that a lot of Protosses like to do.
Yeah, and I hadn't had a chance to mention it, but that Zealot that you keep raving about was actually the 2nd Zealot. So the natural expansion was harassed for such a long time and got a lot of damage done, because the first Zealot even got a couple of kills as well. So, I mean, that early committal to the Zealot harassment really put HaN on the back foot as far as the mid-game goes, because he just wasn't able to build up that ridiculous number of drones that a lot of Zergs like to go for in the mid-game.
Now, HaN's army is pretty good. We have lurkers mixed in. That's exactly what you need to do. I see he's got +1 range damage. Exactly what you need to do. But Dreamer's econ is going to start skyrocketing. He's lost almost 0 units, basically. And he's got built-up storms here. If there's a fight, there's going to be so much storm that I actually don't think HaN can really hold it.
Yeah, and HaN's army control has been pretty clumpy. Like, it's not like it's terrible or anything like that, but we haven't seen these, like, gigantic arcs being set up that you would really want to see if you're going to try to take an engagement versus this many Storms and Dragoons here. It looks like HaN's trying to be very active with the Scourge, trying to snipe off the observers, so that way his Protoss opponent is forced to back up. But with only 1 lurker in this army, I don't even really think that would be the case. This lurker could be burrowed and doing damage right now, and just Storms would take care of it, no problem.
Yeah, and look how many Dragoons are left over. Okay, actually some Lings coming back, but look at the Storms. They're all over the place. But does HaN have enough?
It's
No,
getting
we
close. Unfortunately, the continued storms are really breaking down these Hydralis numbers here. And a decent number of Dragoons have been conserved here, and this is going to start snowballing very quickly.
If HaN maybe had just one more group of Lings here, just get on top of the Dragoons, mess up their AI, I definitely think he could have swung it. But now, Dreamer, he's got his third base up. Supplies are heavily in his favor. I actually expect him to take a fourth base relatively soon based on how that fight went. It's not like he lost all his Dragoons. He has 10 left over. He's in a great spot right now.
Yeah. One thing I really do like to see, though, is that HaN, as you can see, if you just look at his vision, has some pretty fantastic map vision here. I think this is a great response, one of the best ways to deal with the shuttle. There's been a Dark Templar running around the map trying to stop stuff almost the entire game, but HaN has had great Overlord spread as well, so that DT hasn't been able to do very much. He's been really able to limit any kind of damage or harassment that can be done by Dreamer, but unfortunately, just with that really bad early economic start, he hasn't been able to really take his fourth base until just now and really macro up and get ahead of the Protoss as far as the economy goes.
Check Dreamer's stream right vision. We lost it. But I was gonna point out that Dreamer actually had a Templar on the middle of the map. If you take off HaN's vision, he was just like, "Test me, bro."
Yeah, I saw it.
Come at me.
He got
But then
surrounded.
sniped.
Yeah. Imagine how sick it would have been though if you got like an entire control group of Lings with one storm.
But now Dreamer's on the move now, but HaN has a bunch of lurkers set up. But I still think he needs a little bit more. Dreamer's army is actually really scary, and now I'm clicking his units. He's got 2-1 already. He's really on top of his upgrades. I'm trying to find out where are his forges. Okay, he's actually got double forge in the main. That's why his upgrades are so good. He's really on top of the upgrades, and that's extremely important because we know Zergs are going to have upgraded Lings, upgraded Hydras, and then when crack kicks in, if you don't have shields and armor, you're literally going to be taking double damage almost.
Yeah, and Dreamer also, I mean, like, just being very cautious. Like, I feel like, especially when you have a mineral only as Protoss, since gas is really the big deal when it comes to this matchup. He's spending a ton of money on cannons here because he had that mineral only for so long. I really like this because a lot of times you'll see a Protoss player like on maps like CB and stuff like that where your third is very often mineral only. You'll get just a ton of zealots on the map, and I think that going for these cannons, especially when you know that you're kind of at an economic advantage right now, is a really great idea because getting into the game with any kind of shenanigans like like Zergling wraparounds or lurker drops is going to be next to impossible when your bases are so well defended.
Cannon's pretty good, and like you said on Circuit Breaker, usually you just spam Zealots because you don't have a third. Oh, is Dreamer going here? There's quite a few lurkers. Zealots getting eaten up, but the supply is heavily in favor of Dreamer. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I think he needs to back off because the concave from HaN is actually pretty damn good. Would have just gotten smashed there.
Whew. Dreamer now taking his fifth base though. I mean, I think this is just so great. He's ahead of the Zerg economically, and if he just keeps expanding and continuing to, build his army, not taking any real direct engagements, taking a good advantage of his splash damage, he's gonna do great in the coming game in the future here when he's able to put down robos and start defending everything with like a Reaver. That's when I think personally Protoss gets very scary. When all of a sudden I don't feel like I can attack any base without committing a main army.
Yeah, when all the tech kicks in from Protoss, Reaver, Templar, basically all the gas-intensive ones, that's when they're really dangerous. And then if they really want to get cute, you're mixing in Maelstrom or Arbiters, stuff like that. And I'm worried for HaN because I was watching his base this whole time, and just now the Hive has finished. Well, I guess I'm not really worried anymore, but I was worried a minute ago because he didn't have adrenaline during that attack. But I don't think Dreamer will attack within the next 20 seconds or so. I think HaN might actually get his Hive tech kicking in, and then HaN will be in a decent spot to have Dark Swarm, to have Crack, to have upgrades, and that's so hard for Protoss to deal with.
Man, I really love how Dreamer's doing this though. If you've been watching like the whole time, he's just poking around the map, trying to locate where are all the lurkers, where's the defense. He's constantly keeping active so his Zerg opponent can't be super greedy. But he hasn't committed to anything that looked like a disadvantageous fight. And man, 6 storms. Look at this. He's just picking off units. He's shaving off units, a couple at a time here, and just constantly building on his advantage without risking anything.
And the upgrades are just absolutely killer for Dreamer. We have 3-2 already, and Zerg's at 1-2. It's not bad, but supplies are plummeting. I think HaN has probably just lost a little bit too much, and now it's going to be Protoss on 5 baits. It's so difficult for Zerg to deal with.
Yeah, that's like infinite money when it comes to a Protoss. Especially once you start getting on units where you've got a bunch of Archons on the field. Like, because if you don't kill those units, they just come back at full HP. Like, it's so insane. Protoss starts to feel like completely indomitable, and you can kill bases. You feel like you can kill entire armies, and just a whole new one just shows up on your front door in a matter of seconds.
Exactly, and now Dreamer going in for another attack. HaN's units are way out of position. I think this base will get broken, and then if this gets broken, what really does HaN have? It's, oh my god, the storms
my gosh! These Hydralisks just taking so much damage before they can get on any of the actual fighting units here. And look at that, 2 Hydras left over before they get into the bulk of this army here. This is just so rough, man. Like, what do you do as a Zerg player here? You know, your lurkers were out of position, so the army just strided on into your 4th base, and there it goes.
Yeah, 4th base is going to go down for HaN. He at least has the mineral only at bottom left. Okay, there's GG.
Man, what a dominating game from Dreamer. It looked so good.
Yeah, he was playing really well. I think HaN just kind of bled off too many units. I don't think there was a single fight that went in his favor, really. And if you don't have a even decent fight versus Protoss multiple times, it's just going to snowball so hard. And then on top of it, you know, the Templars are banking energy the whole time.
Yeah, it's super rough when Protoss is able to conserve those really gas-heavy important tech units. Like you can kind of lose your zealots, you can lose some goons or whatever, but when you start losing Templar in fights and you lose like Reavers and those units that take quite a long time to replenish and are very expensive, that is really when Protoss is hurting. But if you can just keep all your Templar alive the whole game, that's a pretty great way to kick things off, man. Really, really scary.
Yeah, or trade 10 Hydras for 1 Templar like we saw then. Holy sh!
Oh my god.
I would take that trade any day.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god, it's so gross. Those storms that game were really great too. Like, you never... I mean, we saw a couple of those, like, money storms that were really dramatic, where just all the Hydras exploded. But even the ones where you didn't see entire control groups just getting evaporated, the Hydras were taking a ton of damage, and then they just came in and they got one shot by Dragoons. It was kind of nuts.
Protoss pretty strong race.
It's a good race, man. I mean, if Future can play it...
Yeah, if okay. If Future can play it, anybody can play it.
Oh, jeez.
Holy moly.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we're getting into game number 2 in the bottom right-hand corner. Spawning as the Brown Zerg, down 1 game, but looking pretty strong. Even when he was losing, we have IRK HaN.
And in the bottom left, you got the Protoss player, Dreamer. And I see Mr. Angry Puff in the chat. What's up, man?
I love that guy, dude. Angry Puff is has been watching my stream for forever, and just a really great Twitch Brood War viewer, man. He's always in the chat being hilarious, talking shit about me, making me feel really sad about myself, and then beating me up when we play custom games. So overall, great guy. 10 out of 10.
Last time I casted, I'm pretty sure we casted him, and he had some epic games. But when are we going to have DocHoliday versus Angry Puff for CPL?
We do this all the time.
No. I don't want private games. I want...
You want CPL?
Yeah, I want CPL. Games that matter. Private games, they don't matter.
Dude,
I want to see serious business games.
I'm going to crush him, though, man. Dragon has already been a pretty seriously great coach. Giving just his time up, donating, you know, getting custom games together with the whole team, just obsing, giving tips after the obs, and then going right back into the replays and going over the game again. So in the CPL, it's such a great place to improve if you're putting the effort in. And I feel like I'm just way more talented naturally than Angry Puff, so he probably doesn't really have much of a chance. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm kind of a ghost waiting to happen here.
Damn. That sounds like fighting words.
I think they are. I think they are.
Normally, when I hear stuff like this, I start chanting best of 7. But I don't know if that's allowed in CPL. But if we could have a best of 7 in CPL, DocHoliday versus Angry Puff, that'd be pretty epic.
Dude, I'd be pretty psyched to play a best of 7 against Angry Puff, because I'm not gonna lie, beating him 4 games in a row would be just really nice. It'd be a great opportunity to show my stuff.
Oh my gosh, Angry Puff, you gotta shut this guy up.
Oh, dude, I'm like a C or B tier player, but I'm an S tier shit talker, bro. And I love it too because I have my own platform. Like, it's not like anyone really cares who Angry Puff is. It's like he doesn't stream, he doesn't cast, he's just some random fucking guy in the Twitch chat. But I'm DocHoliday, man. You know what I mean? Like, I've got this whole platform, dude.
I can't. Angry. You gotta kill him, please, for me. But let's talk about this game a little bit. We actually had a really sick scout from Dreamer. Saw the Overlord on the right side, and actually HaN was going for a 12 hatch, but because he saw the probe, he actually transitioned into a 12 pool. So already, Dreamer has interrupted HaN's planned building. Now we have this weird, funky first hatchery at the mineral only. Of course, I don't think that really matters.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It is annoying, though.
Yeah, it is annoying, but Dreamer, he didn't even scout the main, and he just somehow knew that he needed 2 cannons this time.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. Like, I don't hate HaN's position right now. I mean, sure, he made 6 lings or whatever, but getting the 2 cannons forced off of a 12 pool is pretty decent. It's gonna have a better economy than Overpool would have, and you still got the 2 cannons out from your opponent, so it's not like the lings. You know, I mean, when you make 6 lings, you want to force 2 cannons, otherwise it kind of feels like you're behind. So his opponent's build is still delayed, and now he's got, you know, 3 probes just chilling out here. Overall, I don't think HaN's in a bad spot at all. But you're right. I think the mind games that happened here in the early game were quite impressive.
For sure, I think HaN is caught up. The 2 cannons, not a big deal, but the fact that these 3 probes have been sitting here the whole time, and Dreamer has had vision of the lings. It's not like he didn't know where the lings were and he was scared. He knows that they're there. All these probes could have been mining for 30, 40 seconds, however long they were there. That's a lot of resources actually in the beginning.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because 2 cannons is the number that you really need to defend against any kind of silly Zergling aggression early on. Even if they've got speed, you get maybe 1 or 2 into the main if they run past. And I mean, the whole time, you're right, he did have vision of the ling, so he knew that there was no ling speed. So there really was nothing to be afraid of. These Zerglings wouldn't have gotten past, like, wouldn't have gotten up the ramp if HaN tried. So
yeah. So kind of a little misstep from Dreamer, probably not a huge deal, but HaN is transitioning really well. He's powering really hard. He's already almost saturated at all his bases.
Yep.
And we're going into that lair tech. I'm probably going to see that 5 hatch style, but this time I think he'll be more aggressive because unlike other games I see on Circuit Breaker where they take another main, this 3rd base will not allow him to get a 4th base easily.
And Dreamer, losing his probe, decides that he needs 2 more cannons at the front here. But HaN just going for that very, very standard 3 hatch Spire and a 5 hatch Hydra. We should be seeing the 2nd hatch anytime now. And there it goes. I mean, this is a pretty big misstep here from Dreamer. I mean, it's not going to end the game here right away. He hasn't lost yet, but you really don't want to have these 4 cannons up here at front when you know, when you're not really facing any kind of Hydralisk aggression.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a huge investment, but it actually is, because both of those cannons could have been gateways, which means you could have been out on the map faster, applying a pressure, and now Dreamer's attack will probably be, I'm guessing, maybe 20 to 30 seconds slower. That's 2 or 3 rounds of drones, and if Zerg can get up to a good drone count even before your first attack, that's what they want. They want their econ to just be absolutely crazy, because then they're going to deal with your army very easily and then just probably counterattack and kill you.
Yeah, I mean, the dream is to just barely hold that first attack and then just counterattack or take map control at the very least with just a ridiculous number of units and just take all the bases and then just make all of the hatcheries and then just have infinity units for the rest of your life. It's so great when you get that feeling. Man, you could just do anything you want. I'm just gonna kill him pure Zergling. It'll be fine because I have 13 hatcheries. He's on 2 bases. What can he do?
When I play Zerg, well, I mean, I showed you how I played Zerg. I just hide bases and build up mass units. It's true. Once you get your econ going, you can
so
almost
ridiculous.
do whatever you want. You just like, oh well, I'll just take this base and then fly here and kill this. And
Dude,
I killed. Oh my god, I got both stairs.
I don't think I ever told you. I saw that. That was actually a fantastic pickup, but I don't think I ever told you. But watching you play like that made me so angry. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I can't beat a Protoss to save my life. And Nyoken is just clowning on these dudes, taking 7 bases and just infinity mutalisks. That guy has 7 Corsairs, and it doesn't matter because Nyoken's got 48 mutalisks in the air. This is ridiculous. I was so mad, dude. But that's kind of the magic of Zerg. That's like the whole reason why you play the race. Is like once you get to that like super endgame, crazy powerful drone count with all of those hatcheries, you can just do whatever you want, and it feels so good to just crush your opponent.
Yeah, and Protoss like doesn't have any vision the whole game. You can tech switch, catch them completely off guard. Oh, I love it. And sure, I was trolling playing that style, but actually when iCup was a thing 12 years ago, I was A- on all the races, and that's what I did to get up that high. Was I literally just trolled Protoss, just build mass mutas. Oh my god, it was fantastic because when you're playing somebody that's actually like pretty good, they always have some words to say to you, like because you know they're pissed off. I loved it. And then you've seen my Protoss. I go DT carrier. I just try to do the most abusive stuff with all the races. It's so fun.
Oh my god, it's so funny too when you play it. It's like when you play a good player, you can send the signals, right? Like you can juke them out. You can play the mind games and get away with some really crazy stuff. But I feel bad because I try to do that like way too much versus players that are like more my speed, and they just don't know what's going on, dude. Have you ever tried to fake a 3-hatch Hydra and just had someone not make any cannons at all? It's like the worst feeling ever.
No, I have not.
It feels really bad, dude.
Yeah, sometimes you out-mind game yourself. You're like, well, I'll do this, and because they see it, I'll actually do something else, and then it's like, oh, well, actually, you just did the dumbest thing possible, and it worked because I was on just a whole nother level. Like
What?
It's like a poker thing.
Speaking of being on a whole nother level, though, it's kind of hilarious, but like, because we have range on these Hydras, and all that Dreamer's made is basically Templar, like, there's... HaN could, like, is, like, knocking down this wall and getting... Oh, man. Never mind. I was gonna say HaN is getting a lot of value up here at the front, forcing out tons of storms, but... Well, now his Hydra's all died. But even still, that's a lot of storms that won't be going down for the big engagement eventually here in the middle of the map.
I'm kind of worried for HaN because he actually didn't kill anything with those Hydras. Of course, it's not like he's dead because he's got a lot going for him. But it's not like he has another main to fall on his 4th base. I don't think he's going to be taking a 4th base. He's really kind of committed to his 6-hatch, but we do have a Templar drop coming to the bottom.
Yes,
there's a lot of drones here.
Yeah, and only like 4 Hydralisks at home right now, with the rest of HaN's army kind of on the other side of the map here. We don't have any Sunkens or anything to really deal with this.
And HaN's attacking. He's probably not going to notice this at all.
Oh my gosh, he's going to look back at his main later and be like, what happened? Alright, Gateway gone down at the front here, but we do have just an incredible amount of storms. And now here comes the first couple of storms here at the main, I hope? I don't know. What's going on here?
Yeah, I was actually not expecting him to drop the Templar there. I thought he was going to drop... Oh, the Templar flank at the 3rd!
Ooh!
Oh!
And a whole bunch of drones going down at the 3rd base, but the storm drop in the main not accomplishing all that much. Very nice pull from HaN. Very good multitasking. And he's even going to be able to catch this Templar and shuttle back here as well.
Oh, it's alive!
Oh, not for long, though. I mean, where is this going to go? Alrighty. But man, that was actually an incredible response to the storm drop. I did not think it was going to go that well for HaN.
Yeah, but look at Dreamer. He's got 8 gates in his main. He's really stepping on the pedal here, and I think that's the best way to play on Circuit Breaker. It's so hard to get a 4th base. Sure, the mineral only is pretty easy, but you really got to get map control in order to take a 4th base. And look at HaN. He's got so many Hydras, but those Templars really have not died at all back at the natural, and they're banking energy now. It's gonna be so difficult for him. I'm kind of okay. I was about to say, where are his lurkers? I see one morphing.
Yeah, they're morphing. Yeah, I think you're right. I do like a very powerful mid-game Protoss army over trying to just, defend and expand. Because with mineral-only bases, it can be very difficult because you don't really have the gas that you really want to create a more sophisticated, tech-heavy Protoss army. So you end up being very reliant on your Zealot numbers, and unfortunately, just Lurkers are really good units, man. Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Not bad.
Well, Dreamer's sweeping down here now. It can be kind of annoying to push down this ramp with a bunch of Hydralisks versus Storms, so this might actually go pretty good for Dreamer if his Storms are good. And Hydra's taking a ton of damage so far.
Gosh, but at the same time, Dreamer's attacking uphill, and those shots are all missing HaN. Look at the supplies now.
Oh,
it's
man.
180. That's actually not bad. And look at the Dragoons. Oh my god, killer Storms, though. I think HaN is going to hold this. He's just got so much production.
Well, a lot of these units are being distracted by the Archons that were morphing in the front, though, so a lot more DPS could have been done here to Dreamer's army. But you're right. It looks like HaN just barely defending this by the seat of his pants. And that's pretty much how you want to defend things as a Zerg, because it means you've gotten away with the maximum amount of drones possible, and your economy's looking pretty good.
Now, also, almost all of the Storms have been wiped out from Dreamer. And HaN's econ is going crazy. We're taking mid right, we're taking top right. Lings are even pouring out now. I'm trying to check. Okay, there's no hive yet, so no crackling, but loving HaN's spot. And actually, Dreamer has floated a bunch of minerals, and he needs those to be units because a big counterattack is coming.
Yeah, and this is the hard part about it being on a mineral only too. Now, it's like Dreamer he's gonna have to make a choice between making Dragoons and making Templar, or he would if he was, if he was able to keep this 3rd base, but HaN's just going to keep flooding units now. But yeah, like imagine if this was held and there were cannons here and HaN couldn't break this. On CB, you're still stuck choosing between tech units as opposed to getting it all and living the dream with 3 gas.
And as a Protoss, you don't even really want to be building Dragoons at this point of the game, because a lot of the time the Zerg will be transitioning into Hive by now. And Dragoons versus Ling Lurker Underswarm, no good for you. But HaN is actually not going into Hive Tech yet, so Dreamer's not out of it, but he is on a clock, because look at the main. It's basically mined out. Natural's almost mined out. He really needs to get bottom. Well, he needs to get the mineral only, and to be honest, he needs to get bottom middle too, but that's going to be near impossible to get.
Yeah, this is going to be so hard, with only 2 Templar on the field now. And they're just fresh Templar. It's not like they have full energy or anything like that built up over a long game. Losing that big army and getting reset on your Templar count is a huge deal. Look at HaN's army right now. It's just massive. And you don't really have the tools here to deal with both Lurker and Hydra Ling at the same time here. And so these Lurkers are going to be very disruptive because the Storms are going to have to use to kill the bulk of this army.
But at least Dreamer is in a good defensive spot. Units will come in single file through the bridge. If he gets on top of the platform, that's a little different, but at least he has Storm waiting at the bottom. But really loving HaN's spot, especially now. Look at top right, it's completely saturated. Somehow mid right got shut down. Did I miss it? I don't know what shut it down, but that's gone. But doesn't really matter because HaN 4 base, he's got so many units. He's got a lot of upgrades going too.
Yeah, and he's going to be mining on 4 base. Like MSj Dreamer rather. He is basically mined out in his main base here. HaN's still got quite a number of minerals here. He's still got the gas there. This is going to be on half the economy of HaN going forward in this game, and he's going to have to take another base before he's able to catch up at all.
Yeah, 4 base for HaN, basically 1 base for Dreamer, because mains, and oh my gosh, he's getting cut off right now, but Templar are waiting. Amazing Storm right there. But Dreamer needs a couple minutes. Oh, actually, look how many storms he has. Holy crap, he has like 8 Templar.
Whoa, where'd all these Templar come from? Man, he's just been cranking them out.
Yeah, this potentially could go horribly for Han. Dreamer's army is actually insanely scary, but he's got to be able to cast on all these Templar, and it's actually so hard to use all your spellcasters like that.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of funny. I've noticed for the last couple of games, Han has been very Lurker light. He's been sticking more to that Hydra style, and that's pretty good. But I would like to see just a couple of more Lurkers, so that way when you forcing your opponent to get this many Templar out and their main army kind of doesn't have that many units in it, the Lurkers kind of clean up after the fight. In the meantime, though, the third base now going, well, yeah, I was gonna say going down, but not really. But then now there's no detection there, and this Lurker's just chilling. Oh no, and Templar getting caught in the middle of the map as the army gets pulled back here to respond to this third base attack.
Oh, Dreamer falling apart, even floating a lot of money here, but at least he's got most of his army now. But now, not as many storms. Still, there's quite a few. Oh my god, really 6 storms!
Wow! Dude, that was such a huge army from Han like 2 seconds ago, and now it's like half a control group of Hydras and 3 Lurkers.
Oh, look at those Lurkers just decimate that group of Dragoons. Han busting through, and now Dreamer's basically not mine.
Oh man, wow. And the sick macro out of Han, just flooding units now to reinforce that push. And what can you do? Dreamer getting wrecked.
What a boss. And I actually like this little jab that Angry Puff hit in the chat. Oh my god, it's gonna be painful. Doc, how does that feel?
It feels fine, because let's be honest, I'm DocHoliday, he's angry, you know? It's like when Machine Gun Kelly came out at Eminem, and like Eminem's like, I don't even know who this guy is, what's going on? That's what it feels like right now. You ever seen, you know, like Godzilla, you know when you watch Godzilla movies, and there's like a fucking random guy on the ground like shooting Godzilla with an assault rifle, and Godzilla's like not even looking at him? That's how I feel right now.
I can't wait. Damn,
you can't even touch me. You just gotta get on my level, bro. Come on. I'm an icon. What are you? You're some random fucking European guy who's now like in Taiwan, like waking up in the middle of the afternoon. It's like 6 o'clock and you're like, good morning. No one cares. Go back to sleep.
Damn.
Everyone's here for Doc.
I want you to lose so bad that it's getting to the point that I may end up trying to smurf you. It's that bad.
Oh man. Ah, dude. Do it, Nyoken. I'm gonna get Igyo to play as DocHoliday on the ladder.
If you play someone and it's going like absolutely ridiculous, you might be playing Fat Hamburger and you might not know it.
Oh my god.
You might have like mind-controlled drone and I just use lurkers against you or something, or just mass mute at you.
I'm just gonna like sit down
Protoss.
Tomorrow morning, be like, ooh, it's Saturday, I got my coffee, got a book, relaxing. I decide, you know what, it's time for some StarCraft, sit down at my computer, it's weekend time. All of a sudden, brand new account Nyoken playing at 1500 anytime he sees me queuing for ladder, boom, queue. Oh god, that's the nightmare, dude. I got, you know what I got? I got stream sniped for like a month by IOPQ, who's like a 2100 Zerg back when I was like 1700 before the reset or whatever. And dude, that was so frustrating. He would just ZVZ me over and over and over again. Oh my god, I can't handle the stream snipes, bro.
Yeah, I might just be waiting, plotting one day.
That's the Sham 2 experience, man. Just playing against Smurfs 100% of the time.
Oh yeah, he rages about that quite a bit. I mean, it's kind of true because I actually played versus a 1300 player when I was like 2100. Like, come on, Blizzard.
No, it is actually true though. You do play against a lot of Smurfs.
Yeah, like when I saw that, I'm like, Blizzard, really? There's literally no one between 1300 and 2100? Come on, like, there's gotta be at least somebody. Even 1400. I was so like.
Even if there wasn't though, I would rather there be a cap on the difference between MMR and like queue and have to wait for like 200 seconds at 1500. I'd rather have that be the case than, you know, wait 120 seconds, get queued against like a 1900 player and just get crushed over and over again. I think it's like the extra couple of seconds there would definitely be worth it to get a well-matched game. You know what I mean?
It's true, because when I played that guy, like in the middle of the game, he just asked, "What's your MMR?" And I said, "Whatever." I said, "What are you? Like 1700 or something?" And he said, "No, 1300." And actually, at the end of the game, he's actually really mad. He's like, "This just makes me not want to play anymore."
That's
so
what
I
I'm
kind of
saying.
agree. Like, I know that the MMR range has to be pretty big, because if nobody's playing at that time, you got to find somebody. But 800 points, that's kind of a huge gap.
Yeah, it's like an insurmountable gap. Like when you're 200 points below, that's a pretty big gap. But 800 points is like completely different levels of understanding of the game. I think that I don't even think like, let's see, who's 1800 points above you? Like Larva?
Yeah, I would have to be playing like Flash and Larva, but at least if I was like playing perfectly and they like went AFK for a minute, maybe I would have a chance.
Yeah.
But like 1300 versus 2000, usually 1300 is people that have very little experience with the game.
Yeah. They're just like still learning. They don't even really understand the build orders all that well. Oh
Yeah.
man, I hate this. This is so annoying. I hate any Protoss player who does this. You're just a dirty person. I realize this is totally standard and a normal thing to do, but dude, you have no idea how frustrating it is getting your expansion blocked every single game by Protoss players with probes that just don't take any HP damage.
But now HaN, he's just going to take top right. Maybe this was calculated. Now he's going to have double gas for free. I'm just kidding. If he took top right without even having an Overlord in position, this is like such greed from him. It's so easy to cannon. Look, the base is even set up perfectly for a cannon rush. It's not like if he sees a cannon rush, he's going to pull like 10 drones across the map. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
To drill through or something.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna lie. I definitely have taken that base first, because that's what I like to do. I'm never gonna be a pro gamer. It's never. I'm not even gonna be a good gamer. I'm gonna be like garbage tier forever, because I can't help myself, dude. If there's something dirty that I can get away with, I just want to do it. I just have to.
I mean, that's basically how I feel when I play Zerg also. If I was to get this base, imagine. I don't even have to take 7 bases. I'm already on 4 gas. You know how many mutas I can build off 4 gas? Especially when you only have 2 gas? Oh my god, this is the dream if I can get top right.
See, that's the real problem. Playing a Zerg, the payoff for getting away with bullshit is so ridiculously huge that it's like, how can you not? You know? Like I went 3 hatch before pool into 5 hatch Ultralisk one game in CPL, and it was just like, oh, I got away with it all. Look at what's happening. This is the best game ever. It just feels so good.
Yeah, when Zergs get away with stuff, I already want to leave. But sometimes you just play it out just to see, even though you know you're crushed.
Well, yeah, but you're Terran, so you can, make mines and
yeah,
tanks, and
Terran.
sometimes you can. Well, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you can get a lot of value out of your mech army and claw your way back into the game. But I feel like
true.
for Protoss, there's almost no chance if you get that far behind, because they don't really have those tools to be able to kind of grind out over a really long, slow game.
Yeah, it's funny because when we were talking about IMBA units, people mentioned Ling Defiler, Tank and Vulture was pretty much the consensus. And then when people were talking about, okay, what's an IMBA, like actually broken Protoss unit, I don't think really anybody came up with a broken unit. Of course, there are strong units like Carrier or the Arbiter, but is there like a broken unit for a Protoss? I don't.
Yeah, it's
I
really
don't
hard to
think so.
say. I don't think I could say anything either. Like, even the big, crazy, powerful units like Templar and Reavers and stuff like that are pretty fair when put into context of like the rest of their army. You know, it's not like it's like this gigantic. Like, I mean, like you can compare Templar and Reavers to like Lurkers. Like Lurkers are easily better than both of those units. Yeah, you're right. Like the only crazy strong units that they have are really Carriers and Arbiters, and both races have pretty decent answers to both those units.
Yeah, and let's not forget this game. We actually have a game being played here. We haven't mentioned anything really, But we have Dreamer just doing a standard Ser Zealot timing, and we have HaN going standard 5-hatch, but it's a little unstandard because we have this double gas. That means Dreamer's gotta be worried, because if the game continues to drag on, it's just gonna get worse and worse for him. And on Polaris, there's no third gas unless you're gonna take mid right or bottom left, and that's gonna be near impossible to defend because you gotta just travel so far.
Yeah, I guess the one boon for Dreamer is that PvZ is very often much more mineral based than like a ZVT, right? So like in ZVT, this is like a straight up crisis, right? Your Zerg opponent gets a third base with double gas, and it's like, oh my god, this is the difference between, like, you know, a billion ultras at my door and, like, you know, a reasonable 3-base army. But for at least in this matchup, it does mean some additional lurkers and things like that. But again, like, Zerg's economy is much more dependent on minerals than it is in ZVT, so it's not like he's out of the game because his opponent has this base so early.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with Protoss getting a third base that doesn't have a gas than I am Zerg having 4 gas. He's just never going to get a third gas on here. Oh, that reminds me, in CPL, do you get to pick what map you're going to play on? Because I feel like if I'm Dreamer, I just lost on Circuit Breakers. Why in the hell would I pick this map?
Yeah, you do get to pick. I'm not sure why this was the map. I know for especially some of the lower tier players, I think a lot of them just like let their opponents pick all 3 maps because like they don't understand like the picking process and stuff like that. I know like I just generally don't care because I'm just like, I'm serious, like there's more flaws with my play than any imbalance, like map imbalance could really change, other than, you know, playing on some retarded map with some idiot jerk face like, you know, Plasma or whatever. But outside of that, like, you know, like the difference between Polaris Rhapsody and like Circuit Breaker to me is not that big. But I think at T1, you know, these players really do start caring about map balance because their builds are pretty well refined. These guys are pretty good, so.
Yeah, Dreamer just hit an actually really nice zealot timing, but this drone positioning from HaN was absolutely perfect. Completely walled off that one sunken in the middle. That one sunken
so
in the middle
crazy.
And now Dreamer lost his entire map control, and you need map control on here because you're never ever getting a 4th base to have the third gas if you don't have it. I want to be clear here, never ever getting it.
Rich heard me in the chat about Plasma. I guess he's very sensitive about that map.
It's funny because when you said that, I was like, okay, where's Future to play DocHoliday on Plasma? And there he is! And he's spamming that emote too, the Illuminati. Oh my gosh.
You know, I actually beat him on Plaza one time. I just went 4-hatch Hydra, and I just made a couple of early Hydras to shoot the eggs, and I just flooded him before he was able to get into the game with the carriers. But he was like 400 beers deep, you know, so
yeah.
He was like standard. He was hooking up his secondary USB liver to process the rest of the alcohol.
Future's like drunk every single time I play, or every single time I watch him stream. That it's pretty much just his standard play, isn't it? Like there's no difference between.
Yeah, it's like
not drinking when he is. That's just the norm.
They say like if you're drunk when you learn something and then you get drunk again, it's easier to remember it. Maybe that's his secret, bro. This is like the aromatherapy cheating.
Could be. He might be onto something.
Alcoholic memory.
Oh my gosh, but look at this army from Dreamer. This is why I hate this map. HaN, if he just builds like 5 lurkers, what do? You can't cast Storm forever. And on top of it, he's completely walled in. Okay, now he's got Dragoons coming.
It's a lot. There's a lot of rough things about this map for Protoss. I mean, just next to your 3rd mineral only, there's a freaking high ground. Getting across the other way entails you going across like a half of a pixel freaking bridge that's like super long. Oh my gosh, his units are walled in here at the net. That kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Being Protoss must be really annoying, trying to get goons out of walls that you had to have link tight earlier.
You have to know the SimCity really well first. Oh my god, he's gonna pick off a Templar!
And it goes
and that
down!
Templar got 150 energy. That's a huge pickoff, I mean, look at supplies for Dreamer. It's 80 to 85. That's not where you want to be in Zerg versus Pro. Oh my god, but there's actually a lot of storms still here.
Yeah. Forcing these guys. Oh my gosh. These units clumped up and just continuing to take damage. What a follow-up storm! That was super sick, dude.
Oh my gosh, he just hit them as they're running. Like, you ain't getting away.
He knew exactly where these Hydralisks were going, man.
And I want to point out, you called it, even though we have top right. Just now, literally, we took the gas. HaN didn't even really care. But actually, this is something I didn't realize about Polaris, is that they're half gases. Sure, it's double gas for a while, but eventually those two bases will mine out pretty fast. So I guess this isn't as bad as I thought it was. I thought these were double full gases.
Even still, but the thing is, as a Zerg player, you know, you can kind of just pump out drones, right? So at the very worst, this is half of a full gas, because, I mean, you're still depleted mining from 2 geysers.
Yeah. I don't know. But we have Dreamer. He has secured his mineral only. It looks like he's going to be expanding to bottom left. I can't imagine him to just take the mineral only and then go to top right. I don't really know what the best expand path is. To me, actually, top right seems like it's the best.
Dude, this gigantic sandwich being set up by HaN, though, is looking really scary.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive, but the storms are just huge, man. Zerglings are getting absolutely obliterated.
Oh man, and the Zerglings just disappearing, but a ton of damage has already been dealt to this army, and the Lurkers continuing to advance with very aggressive positioning here. This should be able to maybe clean up at least all the Templar target fire, and there it goes.
Yeah, HaN is just overwhelming Dreamer right now. The entire army of Dreamer is probably going to get wiped here. Okay, actually these...
I like this trade, though. Like, even if all of these Dragoons died, getting those Lurkers I think is important.
Yeah, this trade was not bad for both players. Still 90 to 80 supply. HaN really on top of his macro game. He's got top middle, but not mining it. But once that kicks in, his econs be absolutely nuts. I think we're on 7 hatcheries. I'm looking around. And I think this drone in his main was actually supposed to be the Queen's Nest. And that could be a big blunder from him, because if he thought he had Hive, and he actually doesn't, Dreamer might be able to get bottom middle, or bottom left. Actually, it's an evolution chamber, so I take all that back.
Oh man, you know, one thing that I just truly love about watching HaN is he's so aggressive. Like a lot of Zerg players, would just have like lurkers at each one of their bases and be defending and things like that. But HaN is like almost never on the defensive. He's constantly walking around the map with his army, trying to find, you know, what his Protoss player is doing. And the Protoss player isn't really able to get across the map and really do very much damage, because even when HaN has lost an army in the middle of the map, his reinforcements have a lot more time to show up. And I mean, like, this is just such a fantastic way to play this game. I love watching aggressive Zerg players play. There's so much to learn from these kind of guys.
Yeah, he's macroing like a beast. He's consistently ahead of Dreamer's supply. Just now, Dreamer took the lead. But, oh my gosh, so many lurker here.
Oh my gosh, and look at these super aggressive lurker placements here.
And there's no zealot support. These are just isolated dragoons that are probably going to get overrun.
Fantastic storms again, once again though, coming out of Dreamer.
I'm getting worried for Dreamer, because look at how much HaN has. Sure, Dreamer is getting bottom left, but he's consistently losing his army. There's never a point where I see a big fight go in his favor where I think, uh-oh, he might counterattack Zerg. Always, Dreamer's just playing defensive this whole time, and if HaN can just set up, you know, that cancerous circuit breaker layout where you just lay a hatchery, a ton of Sunkens, a ton of lurkers and spores at the bridges, if he can put that at mid-left and mid-right, he'll just starve Dreamer out.
Alrighty, well, HaN now spreading Scourge across the map to make sure he catches any kind of shuttles, but also clearing the way a little bit for a nice chunky little drop that we have going on here. A whole bunch of Overlords now heading down to the bottom right-hand corner, looking, I think, to drop the main base. But, I mean, I think you're right. Like, so I think that Dreamer has done a fantastic job with the storms, but HaN's macro has been so on point, it's like almost doesn't matter this game.
Yeah, and turn off HaN's vision. This is why I hate playing Protoss versus Zerg. Look at Dreamer's vision. He has no clue of anything going on. HaN could attack literally anywhere, and he wouldn't know about it. And now there's a massive attack into the main. and there's literally nothing here.
Yeah, none of these guys have storms. We have one Templar now coming up from the natural with 2 storms. These units quite clumped up here, but this is a ton of damage. Woo! Wow, very nice storm though. A lot of units getting cleaned up that end. And honestly, not very much getting done here. Looks like the Templar that had originally spawned ran down to the cannon. Very nice drop defense.
Yeah, actually that drop did basically nothing, and meanwhile HaN actually attacked bottom left, and Dreamer had great defense there. He didn't even lose a single cannon. Dreamer, I guess, had great intuition that there must have been a drop coming, because he was moving his units into that position before he even had any vision of the Overlord. So great game sense from Dreamer. Now Dreamer's actually in a pretty good spot. He's got 130 supply versus 110. He's got his 4th base going. I'm trying to check his upgrades.
Large army from HaN, though, moving into the bottom left hand, and no storms on the Templar here, so just a couple of Dragoons to defend against this fairly massive army moving its way down to try to kill this base.
I think, oh, actually, he's got units coming from both sides. I thought he would just hold pretty fine, but actually that Templar doesn't even have storm yet either.
Yeah.
This is terrible for Dreamer. Lings are getting in here, Hydras are getting in here.
And now the cannons are starting to fall. Although there isn't a lurker here, and we do have a reinforcing army coming from behind, but this is going to be a ton of damage being dealt to this base. This is a pretty critical base here because, again, this is the first new gas that he's been able to get since his natural expansion.
And I'm checking HaN's base. Hive just completed. We got Adrenaline going. If fights are going this poorly for Dreamer right now, just once Adrenaline kicks in, it's going to go absolutely terrible. I would really like to see HaN do another drop, but as I say that, Dreamer's already setting up for a drop. So that's some great defense and intuition from him. And actually, he managed to save bottom left somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty... I mean, it was kind of clutch, but the lurker got taken out. The thing is HaN's pro pool, or Dreamer's pro pools have been crazy effective. He's done such a good job just with like super bare minimum defenses at all of his bases here.
Yeah, and he's getting scary actually. He's already got +3 done. He's about to have +1 armor to have all 4 upgrades by 18 minutes. It's absolutely crazy. And he hasn't really lost a lot of his army in the last few trades. But he does need to do something about getting the other bases on the right side, or at least deny mid-left, because HaN's getting humongous.
Alrighty, well, HaN now loading up for a drop on the right side of the map here now. Another army. Let's see, are these actually... Let's see, how many... Oh, yeah, a sizable army in these Overlords. And HaN preparing a second drop. I really love... Or a second attack. I really love this. HaN dropping one place, attacking at another location, trying to tax his opponent's multitask. It is so much harder to be defending multiple locations at once than it is to be attacking, because when you're attacking, you get to set the terms. You get to set how many units are going where.
And the drops coming in now. I'm checking Dreamer's defense. He has a decent amount in the main. He's actually got a lot of units to be able to come back into the main really fast. But now a huge attack is coming to bottom left at the same time. Dreamer desperately trying to get a ton of cannons down.
Oh man,
gosh.
We just got hosted by Artosis for 703 viewers. What's up, everybody?
Let's ban that Ardo face in the chat. If you guys, of course, if you're watching Artosis, I'm sure you saw most of the games, but if you didn't see his first game of the day, watch that VOD. We've got a Radiate in a Terran versus Terran. That's all I'm gonna say. Holy crap.
Oh man, well, man, both these attacks really not being very effective. Thank you so much for the host, Artosis. That's wonderful. Guys, I just want to take the time now that all that action is done to say we are currently casting the CPL. That's the Coach Pupil League Community Brood War. What is going on? Holy crap. Anyways, we're just going to keep talking because I'm sure a bunch of follows and stuff are going to happen. But welcome, welcome. CPL is a community-run league, so you can join up on a team. You get placed with like 1 or 2 go-to coaches, and then we have 3 tiers of players. So we're going to be watching Tier 1, which is going to be all of the best players in the CPL, and they're going up against each other. And it's just a really great opportunity for people to learn how to play Brood War and get into the game. So if you guys haven't already, check out the CPL. You may be able to join mid-season. So if you haven't, but you've been really wanting to check out and learn how to play Brood War, this is a perfect opportunity for you.
Yeah, and HaN, he's just got so many things, but Dreamer is really hunkered down here. He's got so many cannons, he's got so many storms. I don't think HaN is actually going to get in here. And Dreamer, he just keeps holding on, and look at supplies heavily in favor of Dreamer now. But Dreamer does need to get a 5th base, but at the same time, HaN is wasting a lot of resources doing these attacks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is HaN's aggression up until this point has been pretty successful. He's been able to pick off Templar, he's been able to constantly be to harass the 3rd and 4th bases here, but now that Dreamer has kind of been able to secure himself a little bit with a large number of tech units and a good number of cannons, HaN's attacks and aggressive antics have really been petering out as far as the efficacy goes. Oh my gosh, this VOD is going to just be covered with the alert here.
I would really like HaN to use more Dark Swarms. We've seen a ton of attacks, but we haven't seen a single Dark Swarm this whole time. Cannons will not kill Lings under Dark Swarm. If he had even 1 or 2 in any of these attacks, I really think he would have busted bottom left. But now Dreamer, he's got bottom left basically completely secured. We have a robotics there. You expect Reavers to come out any minute now. Now he's taking mid right, and now this is worrisome for HaN because he's been mining almost every base the whole game. And he could potentially just get starved out now.
Yeah, and you know, it's crazy too because exactly like you said, you know, HaN's been on an insane amount of bases for quite a long time, and he's been ahead, but all of a sudden he's getting into this split map position, and Protoss is just more cost effective than Zerg when it comes to just the amount of money that their units use as opposed to how strong they are. So it becomes a problem even when their Protoss player has been behind the whole game if they can get on base parity. Because how do you end up fighting the units once the Protoss is able to secure all those bases? You can't. You just don't have enough money.
Yeah, and HaN actually had killer Dark Swarms in the middle of the map, and just moving from Dreamer actually got a lot of his army picked off for free. Now we have Ultras on top of Dragoons. Dreamer's going to hold for now. Ooh. I'm trying to check if HaN has a big production cycle, but actually we don't really. He's only at 110. I don't think this is enough to break mid-right, and now Dreamer's taking the right side. This is not good for HaN, and Dreamer's really been on top of his stuff. 3-1 already. Okay, +2 is a little bit slow on the armor, but everything else really solid from him.
Yeah, and another thing that I think we've been missing for a very long time is plagues. I know that Protoss units have armor, so it's not as effective as it is versus a Terran army, but it kind of is, because a Terran army is much higher DPS, so the units don't need to live quite as long in order to deal their damage out. But a Protoss army does have slow DPS, and these plagues make a huge difference in how your armies trade.
As I say, I don't know if he's going to break mid-right. He just destroyed it. Absolutely running it over. Supplies now even, but uh-oh, them Kate boys are out, and I don't see an overload. Okay, there's one, so they will be cleaned up. But what you're saying about Plague, I actually think Plague is even better versus Protoss, because shields take full damage from every damage source, and then if you just eliminate all of the health, basically you're going to be dealing full damage all the time. And then on top of it, plasma shields are always the last upgrade Protoss gets. So if you have +3 Lings like we do now, they're going to be dealing 8 damage. That's almost double damage versus this Protoss.
Bro, I'm trying to turn off the Twitch alerts. I don't know how to get rid of it. I appreciate every single one of you guys following and all the subs and everything that we've got today so far, but bro, this is gonna be like the most unwatchable CPL VOD ever. This is the best kind of problem to have.
Yeah, for sure. But HaN, he's setting up to do another attack at bottom left. We'll have to see if it's gonna be the mineral only or the actual bot. Oh my god, the plague again. I think you should just go for the mineral only. There's actually not a lot here. Actually, HaN's army is pretty small, but Ultras are pretty beefy. But he's not going to be able to get in just now. But he is taking now the mineral only on the left side, and he has the mid-left going already. Looks like HaN has crawled back in here when I thought Dreamer was in just an absolutely amazing position.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that HaN was able to kind of get back in this. I thought that with the amount of tech units, like the Archons and all the Storms and things that Dreamer was able to build up, that it'd be really difficult for him to break that base on the right side, and that base, if it had stayed up, would have kind of spelled the end for him. As, again, we talked about how split map positions are kind of bad for Zerg. So I don't know,
Whoa.
though. Now we're kind of
Alright.
mined out here, and what can Dreamer do?
Yeah, I just noticed that mined out in the main, mined out in the mineral only. We're only mining bottom left. Literally, all HaN has to do, he doesn't even have to attack anymore. He could just mine out the map and win the game.
Yeah.
But he is still attacking. I personally prefer if he just camped mid-right. Or, yeah, mid-right. Just deny those bases from Dreamer. Well, at the same time, that might be kind of a bad move, because then if you're really just diligent, getting your Reavers into position, your Templar Storms off, potentially Dreamer could have a really huge fight that swings in his favor. So,
Yeah, I don't know. It does get kind of scary once your opponent starts getting on to, like, again, with Reaver and Drop Tech, because there is a lot of things that they can kind of do if they're very careful with the way they move around the map. They can get a whole bunch of cost efficiency, and it's not like HaN is floating a massive bank or anything like that. They're still, I mean, sure, he's at pretty even supply with his opponent, but, I mean, when you start talking about Reavers being in the fights and things like that, it can get pretty scary. So I think if this game goes on without HaN being very diligent in being on the map, I think it could definitely swing into Dreamer's favor.
and Dreamer has a scary army. It's pretty small, but so is HaN's. He's got Reavers in there. He's got Storm. It's exactly what you want as Protoss. Now we're at least long distance mining. This income will add up when you have that many probes. But Dreamer doesn't know about mid-right, I don't think. There's literally just a base under his nose, and if he knew it was there, he would send this. Even just one DT could deal a lot of damage there.
Speaking of, here we go. First Cape Boy
There it
making his
goes.
way over here, and I mean, there's no
the
units or
link.
Sunkens or anything over here, so.
Yeah, the Lings literally just moved out of position, and now he's going to go in and probably get every single drone here.
Yeah, and that was a Plague DT. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, the drones might even be able to handle this situation. He really only has 42 HP, so.
No reaction from HaN at all.
It's too busy.
Oh my god, it's
10
actually
kills!
a lot of drones,
11
too, 'cause
kills!
Look at mid left, there's only 8 there. And then there's only 9 at the other mid left base. That's actually not very many drones for HaN mining, really. And those are basic, except for top right has a little bit of minerals.
Oh my gosh, and that's 14 kills on this DT and forcing all the drones to go away here. But yeah, I mean, there really isn't the overwhelming amount of mining going on the map that we had seen previously. And with cannons and Reavers and Storms, this is going to be a difficult base to break here in just a couple of seconds.
That storm was absolutely massive. All the range got shredded. The Ultras are still alive, but there's cannons here. There's tons of storm.
And they're
but
squishy Ultras, man. These Ultras
there's
only
what he
have like
needed.
half HP.
He's got Dark Swarm. Cannons don't do anything, Dark Swarm.
Oh my gosh, almost nothing. Zealots and kind of Archons?
Oh my gosh, the storms are so sick. But I don't think there's enough. There's no Zealots to actually get the finishing blow on the Lurkers. Now this base is possibly gonna go down.
Oh, this Dark Templar's a hero, though! He's gonna kill both the Ultralisks.
Oh my gosh, he wiped out the entire probe line there.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so much econ for Dreamer. He really needed just base, and now it's dead.
I mean, he did wipe out the base here on the right side, though. I mean, he did get that, but the problem is he basically has no mineral mining around. He's got bottom left, which is about to be mined out here, and that's it. HaN still has at least, what, 2, 3 mining mineral bases here? And you can't really produce units without minerals. I mean, gas is great and all, but he's really going to just be able to make High Templar, and that's pretty much it.
I like what Dreamer's doing here. When in doubt, spam that K button, boys. We got our standing armory, 4 DTs, 2 Zealots, 1 Reaver. I believe in the comeback.
Dude,
If anything's gonna do it, it's gonna be that K button.
it's so funny because this can actually get so irritating. We only have 1 Stargate though, so I guess you can't start doing that thing where you just start banking up a bunch of Corsairs and then just surprise your opponent on the map with 11 Corsairs and 9 Dark Templar. Deal with this shit. That's like one of the most irritating things late game to do against a Zerg player. But now we have 3 Reavers, 2 in a shuttle, and 1 guy just being all alone by himself.
And HaN, he's sharking around trying to find the most optimal path. Okay,
we
kinda
got a
like
drop.
this drop. At the same time, I'm clicking all of them. There's no Dark Swarm in here. And we know that Dreamer already had a bunch of cannons set up. Oh, but HaN's hooking around to the bridges. Nothing's here. All the Reavers gonna get under that bridge, and now he's gonna have to come in single file into these lurker spines and Dark Swarm.
Oh man. Alrighty, all kinds of cracklings in the Protoss main base, and if you don't already know in Brood, where cracklings erase Protoss mains in the blink of an eye. And how are you gonna push across all these lurkers, even with Reavers? Like, where's the obs?
They already got picked off. The Hydras just bursted them down. Even the DTs got mauled. And now I think Dreamer, this is the end of him. He's basically mined out. His main's under fire. HaN.
Oh, we even have mutas. Oh my god, we even have mutas. Yeah, just look at the Protoss main's already gone. It's too sad to play without mouse. GG. Already, Dreamer. Well,
what does that mean?
It means it's really sad to play without any mouse. So obviously, Dreamer was playing on a trackpad for this game, or keyboard only.
Clearly.
Keyboard only. How do you can't even play keyboard only? That's not literally not possible.
Only.
So it's got to be a trackpad, or you know what it was? You remember in like the early 2000s when people were starting to have computers like as like a regular thing, and like they made those laptops with those like little like erasers in the very middle of the. It was like a little.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm talking about? A little rubber eraser mouse. That's what he was playing on, man.
Oh my god. It's funny. There's a player named Slog4. He seriously asked me one time. He said, "Nyoken, let's go play. I'm on a laptop, I'm like without a mouse. Like, let me just play you with touchpad." I was like, "Are you serious right now? What?
Oh my
you
gosh.
just want to embarrass me?"
That's, dude. Okay, so I don't know what it is, but the Russian Brood War community like really loves just picking on me. So there's this one guy named Funny Nexus. Mouse only with his like 180 APM mouse. It's ridiculous.
Damn. That's a lot of APM for mouse only.
I know. He's too good.
That's more than Angry Puff. Damn, even I'm hitting Angry Puff now.
I know. Angry Puff is just the emotional punching bag of the Brood War community. You know? It's like, you know, he doesn't have any self-esteem, so it's not like he's gonna come back at you with any shots.